On this channel, I've often been speaking about the fact that we lovely, ordinary, everyday, natural, living and breathing men and women of this world are not legal entities. We're not this sort of corporation that the governments of the world seem to think we are and try to get us into commerce. And most people, it would seem, believe the all caps name and they start paying the bills of the all caps name, or they start obeying the acts and statutes of the all caps name. You know, the name that's on your passport in capital letters, or the name that's on your driving license in all capital letters, and all of that, thinking that it's them. And every now and again I'll get sent something and I think, do you know what? I better share this with the audience just to make them aware of these little things that might help them understand this whole process. And so I've got this, and I'm very indebted to the gentleman who sent this to me. And as you can see here, it says US Supreme Court ruling. Okay, so it's the United States, and it's not England, but these things sort of go across all this, the sort of Commonwealth English-speaking countries. US Supreme Court ruling, no corporate jurisdiction over the natural man. Let that sink in for a moment. So this is a case called Penhallow versus Doan's Administrators, if I've got that pronunciation's probably ruined it. Supreme Court ruling, no corporate jurisdiction over the natural man. Now, it does say it here, 1795. Can it be as old as that? Maybe it is, but it's still a ruling. And I guess the old rulings are the ones which are the strongest. So, Supreme Court of the United States, 1795, said, inasmuch as every government is an artificial person, an abstraction, and a creature of the mind only, a government can interface only with other artificial persons, the imaginary, having neither actuality or substance, is foreclosed from creating an attaining party with the tangible. The legal manifestation of this is that no government, as well as any law, agency, aspect, court, etc., can concern itself with anything other than corporate artificial persons and the contracts between them. And there it is, Supreme Court. Now that 1795, I don't know if that's a year or it may actually just be the number of the case. I'm not quite sure. But there it is. And I love this phrase. Let's just go over that. The imaginary, having neither actuality or substance, is foreclosed from creating and pertaining party with the tangible. And we are the tangible, are we not? We are extremely tangible. We are living men and women. And if we go along with the legal fiction nonsense, so that a letter arrives and there is a name that is in capital letters, which is generated from the birth certificate fraud, in which your mother and father have informed somebody, the registrar, and said, oh yes, what is the name of your child? Right, I've written it all down. And then they take that away and they've bonded it and they've created this. And in England, at least, and possibly in other places, this becomes the Crown copyright, from what I understand, so that the capital letters isn't actually ours. You know, the names, this so-called name in capital letters isn't actually ours. It's now Crown copyright. However, it may well be bonded and it may be theirs, but it only refers to one specific individual, a living man or woman, or a child, it really, I suppose, or a baby, I suppose, is even more accurate. It relates to one instance because using the birth certificate, it relates to us because we become the stock. We are the vessel. And as such, it obviously relates only to one individual, because this birth certificate gives the name of the parents, it gives the place of birth, it gives the time of birth, so it can only be one individual. So if that capital lettered thing is what you believe is to be you, and you have this certificate to say that it is you and all this sort of nonsense, you clearly are the beneficiary of that. But they don't tell you that. Nobody tells you that. It's a secret. So even that in the rules of contracts is null and void because you weren't party to it. However, it does mean that you can act as the administrator of this because you're the beneficiary. And if you act as the trustee and they come and say, well, you know, this legal entity that we have now created, which is a corporation, it needs to pay this particular bill because apparently this corporation has run up this bill somehow. And you go, okay, fair enough. If you believe that you're the trustee and that it's your job to pay the bill, then that's it. You've got to pay the bill. But you're not that. You're a living person. I mean, we talked about this so many times on the channel, and, you know, I'm surprised people haven't quite got it yet. But you are the administrator or the executor of this corporation, because nobody else can be. I mean, they might own it, and they might say, well, it's ours, but effectively they've acted as the grantor and said, right, okay, we're going to put this into a trust. And they can't be the beneficiary. So you're the only one that can be the beneficiary, so you are the beneficiary title holder of the legal fiction, which is why I have put forward the concept, as I read from another website and sort of believe that it's true, and I proved it worked with my water bill, that as the executor of this, you can sign as the executive title holder and pay off a bill. You, the living man in your private account, shouldn't have to sort of delve into your sweat equity little money pot because you've got the trust funds already done. Plus the fact you, the living man or woman, who's actually done some work for maybe a corporation or for other people, and they're trying to sort of get you to pay out of your little chest of goodies, you shouldn't have to pay because it's not you they're after. They're after this all caps name character, which you're just the beneficiary of. You didn't set it up. I didn't set it up. But it has been set up, and whilst they wanted to keep it, hush, hush, nobody need know, actually, all the time you acquiesce and say, better write them a check, better send some money to them, and you're pretending to be them, you enter into their jurisdiction, then all the time you do that, well, that's it. They've got you. They've grabbed hold of you. But if you continually act as a separate entity, which is what you are as a living man, and you say, well, I'm the executor of this, I am the beneficiary of this, you're the public trustee, you're the one who works for the government or these big corporations who set this bloody thing up in the first place, it's got nothing to do with me, but I seem to have found myself unwilling, but there it is, to be the beneficiary of this, and I shall so act in that role, and as executor of this trust, I will tell you exactly what to do. So there you have it. Let's have one more quick look at that. US Supreme Court ruling, no corporate jurisdiction over the natural man, which basically means, as it says there, that the legal manifestation of this is that no government, as well as law, agency, aspect, or court, concern itself with anything other than the corporate artificial person and the contracts between them. So don't contract with them, and that clearly means that the acts and statutes of legal entities, legalese, the government, has nothing to do with natural persons, natural people, living men and women. So why are we all worried about all the nonsense that they keep shoving out and saying, this is what you've got to do, this is what you've got to do, unless we enter their jurisdiction? It's interesting, isn't it?